If you're paying for multiple AI image and video tools, you might want to watch this first. Today we're looking at DaVinci AI, a platform that brings together some of the biggest AI image and video models like Sora, Veo, Kling, Seedance, and Nano Banana all into one place. If this is your first time here, my name is Jay, and this is the Everyday AI channel where we teach you how you can use AI in your daily lives. So I'm going to dive right into this here, and it's something I've been thinking about recently. It's about the fragmentation of AI creative tools. You might use one platform for images, another one for video, another one for editing. And before you know it, you've got subscriptions all over the place. So what caught my eye about DaVinci AI is that everything lives inside one interface. So let's have a look. As you can see, we've got access to flagship models, and that's for image generation as well as video generation as well, which is really cool. The fact that we've got all of these in one single place already saves a whole lot of time. So yeah, as you can see, we've got Kling, we've got Veo, we've got Sora, we've got Seedance and Nano Banana. So instead of just choosing one ecosystem, you can simply pick whichever model suits the task you're working on, and I think that's a much better approach. So let's actually put that to the test. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to generate a thumbnail concept, because that's something I do pretty much almost every day for the Everyday AI channel. And I'm going to go with, let's say, a futuristic AI presenter inside a premium creative studio overlooking London at sunset with holographic screens floating around him. Cool. So I know this is going to be quite generic. I'm not expecting anything should we say, that looks exactly like me. So because of course I haven't given it any sort of inspiration. I haven't uploaded any images of myself. But in this case, I'm just going to see exactly what we get here. Okay, cool. So this looks pretty interesting. I'm just going to check out what we've got here. We've got some nice text. We've got the London skyline, and we've got some holographic images just as we requested, which is pretty cool. So what I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to change the model being used. I'm going to go with Seedance 5, and yeah, we're going to see exactly what we get here. As you can see, you can actually edit things like let's take a look, like the seed number. So if you actually want to create repeatable aesthetics, you can actually just set a particular seed number, and that will basically be locked in as an aesthetic. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go Seed Dream 5, and I'm going to generate this image. Okay, cool. Let's take a look at this one from Seed Dream 5, and I have to say this looks quite a lot more cinematic, which is pretty cool. It's taken the AI presenter quite literally, so it's given us a actual robot, which is pretty cool. I think this is actually one of the biggest advantages of having some of the best models in the exact same places, because you can easily sort of switch styles and ultimately still maintain your prompt and still maintain the overarching narrative you're trying to create. Let's dive right into video generation now. Of course, one thing that's become even more important I've been seeing a lot is people generating sort of B-roll for short form or even long form, whether that's YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram. AI generated footage can actually save a whole lot of production time, especially when used in conjunction with actual footage. So let's create a short cinematic clip. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to ask for a drone flying through a futuristic city during golden hour with cinematic lighting. Cool. Okay, so let's take a look at this. In this case, I'm gonna leave this as 16:9. I'm gonna run this, and we're gonna see exactly what we get here. Okay, great. So we've generated that video. Now let's take a look. Sweet, that was looking pretty nice. Could be some very useful B-roll. Again, what's interesting isn't necessarily deciding which model is best. It's seeing exactly how they interpret the same prompt but in different ways. So depending on your project, one output might be a better fit than another, and this is why having multiple models really does make a whole lot of sense. Another thing that's really useful is actually being able to edit images as well. I'm going to go here to the image editor, and I'm going to go into one of the images we've generated. Let's go into this one. I'm simply going to ask it to replace the background with a more modern and creative workspace whilst keeping the subject the same. Replace the background with a more modern and creative workspace whilst keeping the subject exactly the same. Okay, cool. Let's see what we get from this generation. Okay, cool. So I have to say, this is quite impressive. It's handled it pretty well. And of course, being able to edit existing assets rather than constantly starting from scratch is something that I know for a fact, as you know, as a creator myself, I know a lot of other creators will actually appreciate it. So another thing that's also worth mentioning is the ability to actually have character consistency. So if you're building adverts, social campaigns, or even telling stories with AI, keeping the character the same across multiple generations can be surprisingly difficult. So having that workflow actually built into the platform does definitely save a whole lot of time. Cool. And on the topic of saving time, another really cool thing DaVinci allows you to do is actually switch characters in scenes. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch the character from this scene. This dude looks like he's doing a cool Michael Jackson impression. I'm going to go with try now, and I'm going to switch up this character here. So I'm going to change it from, I believe it was Kingston before. I'm going to browse in the character library, and I'm going to go with, let's go with Hero. Cool. And then I'm just going to generate this prompt. I'm going to leave it at Kling Motion 2.6. And yeah, we're going to see exactly what we get from DaVinci. So while that's loading, I'm also going to generate a few more images. This time I want to use a couple other image generators. And what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to go with Zara as a character. In terms of a style, I'm going to go with, let's say, Egen Clean. And what I'm going to say is sitting on a throne in ancient Egypt as she is surrounded by wild tigers and guards on horses. Cool. Wild tigers and guards on horses. So let's see how GPT image 2 does with this. I'm going to leave it at 16:9, and then I'm going to click generate. Cool. So that generation has started. We're going to see exactly what we get here from DaVinci, and then we'll go back to that video we were generating earlier. Another technique worth using in DaVinci is actually a structured sort of prompt template for your images. So here's one I filled out earlier. I'm gonna just show you guys what the template was. So this is the template exactly. So I start off with the shot type, the subject, what action they're doing. Feel free to pause the video and you know, take a screenshot of this, but this is what I've done to generate this prompt. And yeah, we're gonna see exactly what we get out of this. So this is a shot of a lone astronaut walking slowly across an abandoned lunar research station. So yeah, this should be pretty cool. I'm gonna leave the model at Sea Dream, and I actually want to get a wide sort of shot because we'll be on a lunar research station. I kind of want to see the horizon and the landscape. So I'm just going to click generate. In the meantime, you can see here our previous image of Zara sitting on a throne with, you know, wild tigers and guards on horses has been generated, and I have to say it looks pretty clean. Yeah, very fresh there. You can upscale it easily if you wish to do so, and then yeah, you can just get a much more clearer version, because of course when it comes to image generation, the aim is always to generate as many as you can until you get to what you want, and then you upscale the final image. I think that's the best practice just for token efficiency, and it's great to see we've got that built into DaVinci here as well. Cool. So next we're just gonna wait for this next image of that lone star, of that lunar researcher walking across that station, and yeah, we'll see exactly what we get. Yeah, I think that was a great image that we got there. So next up, let's see what we've got in here. She was more like spirit queen, a moody shoe. She don't mind, but do you mean I am the one? Okay, cool. That's pretty fresh. So we've got the animation there. I actually added a prompt to change the background to be the streets of New York in daytime, and it did that quite nicely. That was a nice fade. And yeah, we've got this really cool video thanks to DaVinci's motion control. So yeah, there's a whole lot of things you can do here on this platform. If you do want to actually keep a character the same, what you can do is you can actually just you can select this character here. You can actually upload a character if you would like an image of yourself. If you do have the pro version, then you'll actually be able to maintain the character by using this character function here. But yeah, there's quite a few things that also you could get access to. If we go to the spotlight, you can see there's a library of what's trending at the moment. Of course, we got the World Cup going on right now, so there's a lot of useful things there. You can actually also upscale images directly in the workspace, which I think is pretty cool. And yeah, there's a whole lot of useful things you can use this platform for, whether that's creating thumbnails or marketing assets. One thing I always say is that AI isn't replacing creativity, it's just removing friction. The creative decision's still yours. These tools simply help you explore more ideas faster, and having image generation, video generation, and editing all together in one place definitely streamlines that workflow. So definitely check out what DaVinci AI can do for you if you're someone who's creating images, videos, thumbnails, adverts, or social content on a regular basis, because having access to multiple flagship AI models from one interface makes experimenting with different creative directions a whole lot easier. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.